circuit itself can host 110,000 spectators. Around 150,000, while Abu Dhabi hosts just 60,000. While F1 certainly has a following in Mexico, one of the most popular sports is Mexican wrestling, known as lucha libre.
Alright, we are live for round 4 of the Race Spec Pacific Tier 2 series, and tonight we have got our first sprint round of the Season 8 calendar, and we are at Mexico. Scotty here with you. Had a week break, but glad to be back. Big thanks to G-Force Pato for filling in for me last week. Did a great job. So if for any chance I may not be able to do a race, yeah, more than happy for him to come and fill the shoes, because he did a brilliant job last week. As we have the car starting to go out on track, 19 drivers with us tonight, which is very good to see, as we're on board with Aussie Owl at the moment. So Mexico, 4.3 kilometers, 17 turns. We got 3 DRS zones, so lots of overtaking we should see, especially down the long front straight. Very long. ERS usage is a big factor around here, so drivers have to be mindful. Very easy to use it, but yeah, over a kilometre long. And the DRS detection point is before the final corner. And that activates the DRS down the front straight and out of turn 3. So you get a double dose. So if you get the pass, it does help you to keep that position if the car behind does get a switch back on you. And then obviously the tight, twisty middle sector, as we know around here, with those curbs, we've seen plenty of cars in the past spin off into the walls. So it's a bit tricky with setup around here, because you need to be pacey down this straight, as we see the Ferrari just come on to do his first flying lap, Aussie Owl. So we'll bring up the data. We'll see what speed he can do by the time he reaches turn 1. Just hits 332 kilometers an hour. So you got the tight little bits 1, 2 and 3, the tricky chicane. Very easy to get it wrong through there, especially battling another car. Up the run to turn 4 and 5. A lot of tight corners around this track, as we do come into the tricky second sector. So this is where the little bit of downforce that you do have helps. Can definitely be deadly with the curves. So you've got to be mindful to get your lines right through here. Very easy to invalidate your lap as well, as Aussie Owl has invalidated his lap. This is the 3rd DRS zone on the track, and then you come into the beautiful stadium section, where lots of Mexican fans, as we've seen in real life, celebrate Sergio Perez as he comes around the final corner. We'll see what lap he would have done. It would have been a 15.8, which would have put him on pole at that point. But obviously, it's still a lot of time for him to come back in. But as you see, his ERS usage, 13%. So that's how much ERS is around here. So as we see one of the other drivers, so Orphan Drop obviously on pole at the moment. G-Force Zach's just coming around the final few corners into the stadium section now. As he comes around turn 16 and around the final corner of 17, he crosses the line. He goes 17.1. So just a couple of tenths shy off pole at the moment. Dutchy, he does a 16.3, so he gets a fairly decent gap already. And as we know, Dutchy currently leading the driver's standings on 67 points. Currently a 14-point lead over Prezzo on 53. Sneaky, his teammate, does a 16.4, so only a 10th off. And we know Sneaky, he won the last round at Portugal. Missed the first 2 races. So last week was his first race, and he straight away got the W. So both Astons are going to be quick, and Sneaky only missing the first 2. He's only 37 points off. As we see an Alpha Tauri just doing a few donuts. I think that might be Clunky Boy. It is, so just having a bit of a struggle out of turn 3. Very easily if you ride the curb wrong. As we'll go Wash Data. I think he might have made a bit of a mistake, so he's called his lap off. Twitch Liddy's coming into the stadium section now. So we'll see how he can go through the final couple of corners. Currently 22nd in the standings. He's had a 13th place finish. Dean at the first race and unfortunately couldn't attend last week. But he moves himself up into P9 on a 17.7. So Prezzo currently hasn't set a representative time yet on a 20.8. But as we see, Banana does go into 4th position on a 17.0. So fair gap between the Aston Martins and the rest of the field at the moment. As we'll watch Jeff, he's must have invalidated his last lap, and 35% won't be a lot of ERS to get him around the rest of the lap. Clunky Boy, we did see him have a bit of a spin. Wash Data's unfortunately invalidated this current lap, so he'll be back in. So we've got Rob Burgundy currently 9th on a 17.7. So very close in the early stages in this midfield. We've got a yellow flag, just letting other drivers go on their flyers. Right, Jeff just coming around into the stadium section now. Obviously, see, just being careful, make sure he gets his line right through 16 now, out of 17 on the power as early as he can, hugging the pit wall line. He does go P3 on a 16.7, so that was actually a nice lap from Jeff, considering that he was on pretty much less than 5% ERS for that final stadium section. So probably didn't have the grunt out of the final corner, so maybe a little bit more time in there for him. But nonetheless, a nice lap from Jeff. As we have... go on board with Orphan Drop. So this is his first race of the season. He scored the Alfa Romeo full-time seat. So we'll see what he can do. Very strong in Open Tier 1 last season. So we'll see how he can go. A bit of lag on my end, so hopefully that solves it very shortly. Go through the S's, probably a little bit wider than what he would have wanted. It activates DRS, we'll see as he comes across the line. Well, he's about even on his lap, but I reckon he lost a little bit of time in that middle sector. We'll see if there's any time to make up in the stadium section out of turn 16 and 17. On the power very early. He comes across the line. He does a 16.5. He did find 3/10, but again, just not quite enough to sneak into that gap between the Aston Martins. So we've still got double Aston on the front row at the moment. A clean break from the Haas's coming around the S's. As Aussie Owl just goes a 15.6. So he goes in front by 7/10. So what a lap by Aussie Owl. Clean break. And the final couple of corners now. Currently in 10th. Let's find a big improvement to contend at the top. He does find 8/10, puts him in P6. So about 4/10 off third. 5/10 off second, but Still over a second off Aussie Owl. That was a brilliant lap by the Ferrari driver. Aussie Owl, pretty sure he just scored that Ferrari seat as well. So it's our first race of seeing how he goes, and he's already gone to the top, so that's quite a margin. So Dutchie thought he might have, Dutchie and Huey might have thought they had their own way. Huey going as a reserve, but yeah, Dutchie, Huey, sneaky. We've all had 3 separate winners so far, 3 from 3. So Aussie Owl with the pace he's showing as he comes in. Hopefully find somebody else on a lap. Banana was, but he invalidated his lap at some point. As we go to the Red Bull driver next of G4, Sack. Currently just slightly down on his time, but we saw Orphan Drop make a lot of time in this section. Around 16 now. Trying to carry the momentum through 16 and 17. He hugs the pit lane as well. He does find a little bit of time. He moves himself past Banana into P7. So couldn't just fit into the 16s, but there's still just under 7 minutes to go in this session. A lot of time for these guys to do 1, maybe even 2 laps if they're just coming into the pit lane now. As Ron's just about to start his lap. Clunky hasn't set a representative himself. Roscoe, unfortunately, he's invalidated his run. So he's still yet to set a time, him and Jimson, currently in the pit lane. So we've got a Mercedes coming around, he's just about to start. Try and find one of these boys on a lap. Dutchie will follow, he's gone purple in the first sector. So on board with the Aston Martin driver through this tight, twisty section. Taking all the curve that he can. Nice lines through there. Downshifts to 6. Nice run, activate DRS. He's up like 3/10. Needs to find a little bit more if he wants to match Aussie Owl. But into the twisty stadium section now. Wants to get a good drive out of here to the line. Has a bit of a correction, but hugs the pit lane line. He does find nearly half a second, but he's still 2.5 tenths off Aussie Owl. That's a bit of time from Dutchie. Sneaky's still in the pits, but now has to find a fair bit of time to match his teammate. But Jeff, he goes third. So Jeff finding some good time around here. 16.3 splits the Aston Martins. Dobby, he's up. Needs a 16, 17.6 to be better. 17.3. So 13th, he moves past Masticles. Prezzo's just coming across the line now. He's up by 10th at the moment. And he goes on a 16.6. So behind his brother. So it wouldn't surprise me that these two can't be split, but Prezzo, that's a nice lap to get him in within the 10. And remember, with the sprint rounds, we use the in-game sprint system. So that means there'll be 12 laps for the sprint, no pit stops. So you're pretty much looking to maybe make a couple of places, but to better yourself for the feature. And if we do have any drivers watching, just if there's any weather indications, we know that we can get a little bit of moisture around here in Mexico. The game does like to throw that out. But it'll be nice to know, obviously, quality's been dry so far. Stobby, he's invalidated his current attempt, and he's got his fuel light flashing, so he'll be in for his final run. 3:30 to go. He'll have time to come back out. Only a couple of drivers out on circuit at the moment, so don't be surprised if we have a hectic final couple of laps. Orphan Drop's gone out early to try and find some space. Jimson's followed him as well. Prezzo's just come in. He'll have time. It's whether or not he gets stuck in all that traffic as the other Red Bull of Zach comes out. Try and beat the traffic out. Clean air. Clean air is definitely what you want around here, but there's not a lot of track to cover 19 drivers, being that it's only a 76, 77 second lap. As we got the usual banana cake pie emojis in the chat. Hopefully you have a good one, Banana. Obviously you had a good one last week. Moving up, I think it was, you started 17th, up to 5th in the end, moved up 12 spots. Currently 11th at the moment, but so close in that midfield. As we do have a lot of guys coming out of the pit lane now. So we might have a bit of a traffic jam. All these guys will have a lot of time to make it to the checkered flag, but will they be able to get the tyres in the right condition for their pretty much one and only flyer? As Orphan drop, that's sort of the risk that he plays. He went out early, but he's caught all the traffic and he hasn't improved in the first sector. So that's the risk reward that you play by coming out early. With a lot of the guys coming out in front of you, he's got a bit of clear air now, so he shouldn't run into anybody else. Jimson's behind's got the same issue with the AlphaTauri in between. Got a little bit of lag there, but it seemed like he took the line fine there. We'll see what he's up. He's up by a 10th. If he can find a touch more, he'll jump onto the second row. Around turn 15, taking as much curve as he can on the outside to give him the better angle into 16 and now 17, and comes to the line. Oh, he lost a little bit of time. Does improve, so it might help him in the end. Jimson was the next one across. He must have been validated, and he hasn't got the ERS, and this will be his final run as well. So, might not be the best lap from him. As we'll see who is on a flyer that is close to finishing. Got a 49% there, so he's made a mistake. And he's going to be close to get to the checkered flag. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. We'll wait and see. All these guys sort of just in the middle sector. We'll go on board with Masticles. So it says, Alpine just cutting the grass at the S section, so he's trying to get out of the way. As Masticles into the final sector now. Currently 15th, as we do see the checkered flag, so this will be it for all the drivers. So I'm pretty sure Orphan Drop is in the pit lane. He's done. Masticles does move up into P7, so nice lap from him. What can the Red Bull do? Jimson, he goes into P10. What about the other Alfa Romeo? Steely, he crosses the line, stays where he is. Twitch comes in, he's done. What about Stobbies? He's had a spin, no front wing, so he's had a bit of a loss. What about Dutchy? Oh, I think he's done. I think the traffic ahead, maybe a bit of dirty air. Prezzo jumps into P4. Dutchy can't improve. What about Sneaky? Where's he? He's currently up by 2.5 tenths. So this will put him into third at the moment. Hasn't got a lot of traffic. Aussie Al, he improves his time. So brilliant lap from the Ferrari driver. We're on board with him, but watch Sneaky. He does. He jumps into third, just behind his teammate. Roscoe Arm jumps into P6. So nice lap from him. Davis into P8. So McLaren doing a good job to get into the top 10 with both cars yet again. Clanky Boy did jump his teammate Masticles. Banana ended up in 14th. Ron 15th. To Mercedes, Dobby and Wash Dada, unfortunately 17th and 18th at the moment. Steely couldn't quite get his last lap in. So he'll end up 19th, but Aussie out, first race in, and that's pole position. And as you can see with the results on screen, he had a fair margin as well. Just over 3/10 to Dutchy, our current championship leader. But not much separating the two Assens. So Dutchy and Sneaky, one win apiece. We'll see how they go to turn one. Obviously a really long stretch down to turn one, being that the start-finish line is pretty much right at the beginning. So you got about an 800-meter run to turn one. Prezzo does finish P5. Roscoe, Orphan, Davis, Zach, and Cleanbreaker the 10. And we'll scroll down to the final results down the bottom. Steely will be starting the sprint race from 19th and last. But as we know, this can be a tricky track, and track limit warnings and penalties are a massive issue around this track. We saw multiple drivers getting their laps invalidated around here. So big challenge for these drivers to try and keep it clean, and if you can, lots of positions can be gained, especially in the sprint, or if there's a late safety car in either of these two races. So as the guys load up there, change maybe their tyre pressures and their fuel. 12 laps coming up. No pit stops, so it'll be a straight sprint. You'd imagine all these drivers will start on the medium tyre. Mediums could easily get to the end. Depends if some might risk it for the softs, but I have a feeling they won't make it, and you definitely don't want to touch the hards. But obviously with this sprint round system, everyone who did go with the balanced setup will not have two mediums for the feature race, as this sprint uses one of them. So this sort of takes a little bit of strategy out of the feature. But you'd imagine as the formation lap does get underway, chuck everything on, and the tyres, we've actually got a little bit different actually. 3 drivers, Jeff, Prezzo and Roscoe Arm, they've all gone the soft tyre, which is interesting to see. Now remember, we did have the Open Series on Sunday night and the Elite Series, so a few of these drivers may have raced Sunday night, and just with the sprint, they may have realised that the soft tyre, the benefit at the start outweighs the risk and the pace loss at the end. So we'll see how these 3 go, especially off the start, and if they can get a good start, we might see a soft runner actually leading out of turn 3. But Aussie out, at least with one lap pace, he was super strong. So you've got a feeling that if he can clear out and continues that form that he's shown so far tonight, it'll be definitely a hard person to beat. You can sort of see a bit of a cluster at the back. So obviously a lot of guys going fairly slow. This won't really help with tyre temp. Oh, and there was nearly a little bit of contact between Roscoe and Prezzo. Somehow we haven't got a disqualification just yet on the formation lap, which is very surprising. But it looks like everyone's made it around cleanly. We've got Clunky, unfortunately having another spin tonight. He had a spin at turn 3 quali, and just having another little donut, maybe getting a bit more heat. Oh, and there's nearly a little bit of contact as well, as you got a McLaren nearly coming into pit lane. So a little bit hectic in that midfield, as the drivers just try and find their spots on the grid. That will switch up. Davis, unfortunately, going a little bit deep. but we'll switch on board as we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got all 5 lights and 1 away, and Aussie Al got a good start. It's Aston beside him seemed to have an alright start, but bogged down in the second phase. As we try and switch to another camera angle, as we can see, it's nearly 3 wide. As we come down into turn 1, both Astons, but that is the Alpine. Nearly had contact, but he does split the Astons. Can everyone else get through? They can through turn 1, no incidents as we quickly scroll back up to the top. Aussie Al does lead, sneaky in P2. Jeff was the one that got the jump. So he's got ahead of Dutchy. Prezzo and Roscoe maintain their 5th and 6th. But Jeff, he's been able to make the soft tyre work. Nearly got both Astons. But Sneaky had the better run on the outside as we've got a little bit of movement down the back end, but we'll go through the S's for the first time. Aussie Al, he got the lead that he wanted. He's got 8 tenths nearly. Sneaky trying to follow him. Prezzo. Oh, someone's had a spin. Jeff. He had such a good start, but had a moment through the S's. He hasn't hit the wall, but he'll be at the bottom of the field and on the wrong tyre. He'll be able to use those softs to get back through. Got to be a little bit careful as we nearly go side by side through the stadium section. With Jeff, a little bit of contact with clean brake. Right on board. Already used nearly half his battery. Can he get back past? We'll quickly go back up to P4 because Prezzo thought about a move on Dutchy. It was about a 10th behind. But they stay as is. Further in the midfield, just a bit of a logjam at the moment. Davis is probably the closest one that may drop DRS from the car in front. Dutchy has actually already dropped off a second from his teammate, but that was probably just to avoid Jeff's spin. So we'll see if he can close that gap up as we've got Clunky right on the back of Zach. Coming through the S's now. Fuel weight won't be a bit of an issue in the sprint, but these drivers will feel it started the feature through that part early on. Zach rides that inside curb. That's Clunky about half a second off. As we've got Twitchley and Washdata. Washdata going a little bit wide. They should have the better run through here. DRS is enabled for the first time tonight. As he's on the inside line, but tucks back in. So it looks like the Alpine was burning all his battery, but does still have quite a lot of straight line speed. Mercedes just won't have an overlap to actually send it down the inside. So Dada has to settle for P13, but Twitch has a moment coming out of 3, and that gives him the position anyway. So good pressure applied, and yeah, Twitchley just having a little bit of a moment. He'd be a little bit annoyed at that. He did a good job defending down the straight, but he's lost that position anyway. So we'll see if he can fight back. Heading back to the 2 soft runners. Prezzo, even on the softer tyre, maybe they're starting to wear already. Nearly dropped as Roscoe. He picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the night. So got it quite early as well. Rally lap 3 is yellow flag, and we've lost Ron in the S's. I'd imagine, does he have his front wing? He does. Fingers crossed that's just a spin for him. As Jeff and Steely going side by side. Steely nearly sent it back up the inside, but it remains as is. We'll come down the front straight as these guys will have DRS for the first time. Jimson looks like the first person to make a move. He gets the job done, but the AlphaTauri hangs it around the outside, then switches to the inside, then switches back out to the outside, goes super wide. This Clunky. He won't have DRS, so now Banana on the inside. Will he make a double overtake? 3 wide into turn 4. Still side by side. Jimson got the move done. Clunky under all sorts of attack. as he loses another spot to Mercedes. Oh, and there's contact and bananas around. So he'll have to recover from that spin. Just unfortunate, just with the way those cars were going through that corner. You feel like it was always going to be contact. Just people trying to get the little bit of advantage they had. But Clunky just sort of struggled. Especially with the guys having DRS on both straights. But Jimson, he made the move done and he started it. But he's gone wide too, so Dado makes the move up the inside. Oh, and Jimson nearly hits the wall. Right on board. Oh, there's a little bit of contact. Decided to go around the outside that time. As he seems to have a bit more straight line speed. As Dado does cover the inside line. Clunky was hoping to get more up the outside to think about a move. Not quite. Both of these guys actually have DRS. So Clunky has got it. So Jimson was the one that lost out that time. So yeah, when he goes wide as well, it's not the first time we've seen that. So Jimson's sort of struggling after he made those moves done. So plenty of battling happening earlier on. Or sorry, lower down the field, I should say, in the midfield. They're trying to get into that 10th spot. I think Stobby's had a moment. He's had a spin. He's still got all his front wing. But again, it's the middle sector once again. Just, yeah, those curbs can easily bite you. As we've got the two Astons, second and third. So do we see a bit of team orders here? So he's using a bit of DRS Dutchy, but not any ARS. Seems like Sneaky's got a fair bit of straight line speed and yellow flag. Oh no, that's at the back. Clean break. He's obviously had a moment, so he's going to drop another 2 positions. As I quickly go back up to Gibson because they're going side by side with Twitch. So Twitch trying to make a move down at turn 1. Both these drivers do have DRS. Twitch close enough to make a move, not quite. He has to sit back. Obviously we can see a lot of people in the DRS train. Oh, he's getting right close, but I reckon got to be a little bit careful. I think he had all 4 wheels past the white line. As we take the aerial shot through the S section now. So you can see how good these guys take the lines through here. Wash has gone wide and he's hit the wall. So he's carrying speed through there, so he might have hit it slightly earlier, but he's going to have to come in and box for a new front wing. And I'd imagine he'd chuck on a set of softs. So next sort of train, Prezzo has lost position to Roscoe Arm, so we missed that with all the action down the field. Obviously Roscoe's got the 3-second time penalty, so I'd imagine that Prezzo won't bite this too hard. As Davis closing right up the back, but couldn't quite get it done. And then the Jimson Twitch Lily battle stays as is. Oh, Prezzo's left the session. Hopefully he can get back in, but he was running in a good position, but he's just going to drop time. Going to quickly back up to Stobby and Clean Break. Clean Break gets the move done after his issue a couple of laps ago. As Banana obviously clearly not happy, as we can imagine after that contact around this part of the track that we are now. Mastical's just got DRS, sitting behind Twitch Liddy. Sitting behind as Zach currently right behind them as McLaren, as Stobby, he's had an issue. So both Mercedes struggling as Prezzo is in. And he's boxed for some reason, so he must have had damage. But I'll quickly switch to Davis. Obviously Davis having DRS from the car in front. Zach can't do anything about it. But can he line up out of turn 3? Not quite. Davis had the better run. We switch back to Twitch and Masticles. Twitch has obviously had a moment somewhere because Masticles is right on him. And Jimson's lost a lot of time. He's lost a lot of time to Jimson as the Alphatera goes up the inside. And does manage to get it done. He does go a little bit wide. That opens the door a little bit, but manages to cover it off nicely. So he gains a spot. But these two have actually lost 3 seconds to Jimson. And Jimson, he's right on the back of Clunky. Going through the S sections, obviously getting the dirty air from the car in front, but manages to keep all 4 wheels within the white lines. And Massical picks up a 3-second penalty. And who have we got? Twitch, he's had a spin. So his last couple of laps haven't been great. That's the 4th drive, I think the 4th or 5th driver we've seen have an issue through there. We'll quickly switch up to the front though, because it's getting real close between these two. As Washington picks up the first 3-second time penalty for him in the sprint. Oh, and that Dutchie got a better run than his teammate through there. I don't think the move will be on, but I'll quickly switch back to Zach and Davis. Zach got the move done, but Davis has got the outside line. Zach covers him before he can get the chance. But Davis will have the racing line. Can he go around the outside of the Red Bull? He manages to hold it. It's going to be a little bit compromised through here. Gives Zach enough room. Got the inside through the double right-hander. But manages to hold the spot. Brilliant driving from these two. They both gave each other a lot of room. Nice and clean. So Davis holds P6. This gives Orphan a little bit of breathing room now. So he's currently P5. As Dutchie, he's sort of dropped off a little bit in the middle part of the lap. But he's still got DRS. Ozzy, we haven't actually spoken much about him yet, but he's still got a 2-second lead over the 2 Astons at the moment. So he's just driving his own race, under no pressure, just needs to keep it within the white lines. And he should have this in the bag. Dutchie not quite close enough. We'll switch back to Zach and Davis. As who we got, Jeffs, he's had another spin, unfortunately. Just coming into the stadium section at turn 12. So he drops nearly to the back of the grid. Back up to Zach out of turn 2 and 3. Didn't quite manage to get, but Davis is back within DRS range now of Orphan, which is what he needed. And with Roscoe, he's done a good job. He's got to be careful with those softs dying at the end. He's currently got a 1.6 second gap before he loses to Orphan with the 3-second penalty. Prezzo is in, which is good. Problem is he'll be starting the feature race from a lower position than what he would have wanted. There's Twitch after his issue. He's behind clean break now. We'll head back up to the 2 Astons who are coming around the final corner for the 3rd last time. 2 laps to go. This move seems to be on. Do the 2 teammates fight? No, Dutchie gets the pass cleanly done. So swap a position. Both of these guys are still 2nd and 3rd on the podium for the sprint anyway. And who's had a moment? Prezzo. He's had a moment. That might have just been him recovering or getting past with him still being AI. But Dutchie holds on through turn 4. Yellow flag. Oh no, Prezzo's had an issue. That might have been when he joined, so unfortunately he'll be able to recover. Obviously no points in this race, and he's going to have to work his way through the field. Hopefully he can stay in. This Clunky Boy is right behind Jimson. Both Alpha Tauris in the 10 as the Haas and the Alpine fight. A clean break went up the inside at turn 4, but Twitch Liddy had the better line through 5 and got the position back. As Davis is super close, but will quickly switch back. So last lap, battle for 2nd, the 2 teammates. And I think that was fairly easily done already, as we got, I just jinxed him. Funky Boy's had a spin at the stadium. As the two Astons stay line astern, we'll quickly jump to the battle for 5th. Davis around the outside. Prezzo got the Orphan Drop got the inside. His line's got to suffer through all this. He's trying to keep the McLaren behind, but he's got the inside line at turn 4. What can they do? And then you've got Zach behind. He may be able to take advantage of this. Still side by side through 5. Oh, a little bit of contact. But the McLaren will do that. Oh, big slide from Orphan Drop. Does that allow Zach past? Not quite. As he has another slide. Got to be a little bit careful with overheating. Jimson, he gets past his teammate. And Zach giving a little bit of a wiggle. So I don't think he was too happy about that. But we'll quickly switch back up because Aussie Hour, we haven't spoken much about him, but he's just won the sprint. Sneaky and Dutchy, they'll finish 2nd and 3rd for Aston Martin. 4th and 5th for McLaren, so nice job from Roscoe. Made those soft tyres work. But he will actually drop a spot to his teammate. Davis, nice job at the end. Getting past Orphan Drop, got the move done out of 4, 5 and 6. And then he actually jumped his teammate, but still good result from McLaren, 4th and 5th. Orphan Drop, unfortunately, couldn't hang on. Gibson just getting past his teammate after that kerfuffle at turn 6. But still in the 10th for both Red Bulls. Masticles 9th. Banana, he manages to recover to 10th. And then obviously outside the 10, clean break. Clunky, obviously having that spin towards the end in the stadium, having a moment there, dropped him out of the 10. Twitch Liddy, as we know, had a couple of issues, as well as Steely, Ron Burgundy, Washdata, Jeff, he's spinning, didn't even get to the line, he will reverse across. And then Prezzo, unfortunately, he'll cross the line, 2nd last. He had his issues, unfortunately lagging out of the session. He's back in, but he's got a lot of work to do. For 36 laps coming up as Jimson, he does get the driver of the day for the sprint. As we have a look, Aussie Owl picks up max points for the sprint. I said he got the lead out of turn 1 and never looked back. So he'll start pole for all the sprint. Aston Martin had a nice battle down turn 1. I don't think there was going to be any real danger between them. Not a lot of points in the sprint compared to the feature, but it's a double Aston 2 and 3, double McLaren 4th and 5th. Orphan Drops manages to get 6 after losing just that spot to Davis in the end. Double Red Bull, Jimson and Zach managed to find themselves in the top 8. I'll quickly switch to the times. A few guys picking up a few pens, but nothing too bad. Massacles and Banana are your final 2 in the 10. And then Clean Break, Clunky, Twitch, Steely, Ron, Washdata, Jeff, unfortunately starting 4th and getting to 3rd on the first lap, having a moment through the S's on the first lap, dropped him out of the points. Prezzo with that lag issue, but he's back in now, so fingers crossed he can do well. And then Stobby, unfortunately having an issue again through the S's, losing his front wing, so he had to box as well as Prezzo and Washdata. But that was a pretty jam-packed sprint, and that was only 12 laps. We got triple the laps coming up. So as we load in, what awaits us? Blue sky, a little bit of cloud. So this is looking like it's going to be a dry race. So I think it might have to have a sip of water. Let these guys choose their tyre strategies. They'll either go the medium hard, medium. You'd imagine hard's probably go on about 20 laps, and then pitting onto the mediums for the last 16, or vice versa. Mediums for about 15, 16 laps, and then hards the rest of the way. Obviously, we've seen a lot of cars spin it through the S's. No one's hit the wall and DNF'd, which is good. But obviously, safety car risk is a little bit higher, especially the early laps with the higher fuel. So we'll see what strategies these guys go to as we just about to start the formation lap. Aussie Al will lead us off once again tonight, with the two Aston Martins behind him. As we'll have a look at the tyres, and every single driver going hard, which is very interesting. Which, do we perhaps have a little bit of weather coming our way maybe? So I would have figured you'd have a couple of guys on the mediums, but maybe not quite. We'll see how we go. We know the hard tyres aren't exactly a great tyre to make a pit stop onto with how cold they are. Oh, and we've got Banana and Clean Break having contact. So Banana's night couldn't get any worse. It has. So he'll be starting on 70-degree tyres with an 800-metre run to turn 1. So unless he aces his start, unfortunately we might see Banana at the back of the field, unfortunately. So won't be surprised if we see another comment in the chat. But yeah, unfortunate with those two. However, not sure who made contact with who, but unfortunately both those drivers will be starting with the 70-degree tyres. But it's been fairly clean so far. Oh, and that's McLaren nearly hitting the wall. But Aussie Al, he's actually taken the quick formation lap approach, which isn't a bad idea with the hard tyres. That's sneaky right behind him. Oh, and he nearly loses it, but he does catch it. But obviously, the field spread out a lot more than what they were on the sprint. As they come into the stadium section, they're sneaky, wanting to get a little bit of a move on here. Originally, you wouldn't want to pass under the formation lap because you never know what could happen. But Aussie are going a little bit slow towards the end of the lap, but he'll have his tyres the way he wants them, as we've got the drivers coming in the box. So we'll be underway in a couple of seconds now. So we've got all drivers lined up now. I've had my drink. Let's go for 36 laps at Mexico. As we just wait for possibly one driver just to finish loading up. Alright, who are we waiting on? Alright, we got lights, all Bananas. He's the one that's left the session. We got 5 lights. We're out. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues. We may have a restart. But Aussie Al got away once again, as we've nearly got 4 wide and we're only 150 metres off the start, and we've got front wing already. As there's big chaos in the back, as we do have a lot of guys leaving, so I believe we'll have a lobby reset, unfortunately. But that's fair, as we know with the yeah, Dutchy was disqualified, and as we know, a lot of guys with the 10-second time penalty. As I'll just check in chat. Yeah, got a lot of cars driving AI, so we'll just see about this restart. We'll keep going for the time being, but I think this is definitely going to be a restart, I think. A lot of guys have dropped out. Yeah, and Banana has called it red flag. As Aussie, yeah. Probably, for his sake, his one and only time that he doesn't have all 4 tyres on his car. But we'll have a lobby reset. So gives us a little bit more of a break. So we'll wait and see. Appreciate the comment. Millisun, if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, Euros obviously later on tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on where you are watching us. If you are watching us live or on demand, obviously the Race Spec YouTube channel. But the Euro guys, hopefully you guys see as much action as what we have. As I think we'll just leave that session for now. So obviously, unfortunately, we got the lobby reset. Obviously, Banana leaving, had the disconnect. So obviously, we got a little bit of a wait. So we'll jump into the virtual showroom. I think we'll jump onto the Ferrari because yeah, Aussie Air was pretty dominant in that one, leading from start to finish. So he did all he could for the sprint. So he was definitely going to be a standout. So again, Aussie Air's first race in the full-time seat. He managed to get that, same as Orphan Drop, his first time in the Alfa Romeo. Both those drivers scoring seats between the last race and this one. So Orphan Drop as well didn't hurt his didn't do himself any negative attention. Good result, P6 at that point. Unfortunately, just got past, but that was a good battle between him and Davis at the end. But we had the Ferrari, but we also had the Aston's second and third with the results. Those two were looking very good as well. So we didn't see, saw them pass down the front straight. We didn't see too much fighting between the two. They've currently got they're currently leading the constructors, I should say. They have a 23-point lead over McLaren, who have a 21-point lead over Haas. So obviously both Aston scoring second and third, McLaren scoring fourth and fifth in that sprint. So gives them both more points. As jump into the lobby now. So again, anyone who's joining us just got a red flag. But unfortunately, lobby disconnect. So Banana left the session. Might have been his end or somebody else's, but a few of the guys couldn't take control of their car. So we'll jump in, try again. Obviously, this will change things up for all the drivers. Obviously, because they can change setups if they want. We will probably have a custom weather setup. So I'm assuming that will be all set to dry, or if we did have a little bit of rain, we'll make sure Banana gets all the guys in the lobby. We'll set the grid from the sprint race results. So hopefully we can get this started very shortly for you all. But yeah, some of the unlucky ones in that race, Jeff. The soft tyres, he got the jump on one of the Astons, managed to get the move done, but unfortunately just having an issue on the S's for the first part, and then unfortunately having a spin and then dropping all the way to the back. Didn't have to make a pit stop, but those softs were probably pretty dead by the end of his session, as we've already got 14 in, which is very good to see, so we shouldn't be too much longer. So just going on to that result from last week, as we sort of waffle on while we waste a little bit of time. Sneaky, as I've mentioned before, he got the win from Mash Jr., who was a reserve. He did get pole position, but unfortunately only managed to finish second. But Washdata, unfortunately, hasn't been his night tonight, but he found himself P3 in Portugal, which was a very good result from him. Dutchy just off the podium, and then, as I said, Banana having a really good fight back through the field. Prezzo managing P6. Looking at the stewards' results from last week as well, there was only one, and that was a bit of contact between Jeff and Davis. And my name is Jeff was handed a 5-second penalty with 1 license point for that little bit of contact. Cutting, it was a move between them, not giving Davis enough room. Stewards decided that Jeff was at fault of that, but it was only a 5-1. As we got 14 in now, just waiting a little bit longer. But yeah, I think as we go and look forward to the 36 laps, as I mentioned before, setups are going to be completely different. Setups can be changed, so any slight tweaks that they want to do. They will have this, if they go balanced, they will have their second set of mediums back. So this may change a little bit of a strategy. So an early instant, someone can go a double medium stint, or if there is a late-ish safety car, if they start the mediums, they can jump onto hards, then back into mediums. But as I said, looking that all drivers did pick the hard tyres for the feature. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that again. As we still got 14, now 15. So just sort of thing with the esports crossplay with this game. Just you got to sort of, with the way they invite, just got to do it one at a time. So Banana doing as much as he can, as quickly as he can. That gives us a little bit more of a rest. So just wait for 4 more drivers to come in, so then Banana can set the grid. So just waiting on a couple more. Those watching on demand, who can't watch us live, you'll be able to skip over all of this, which will be very good to see. Very good for you guys. As we just wait, got 3 more. And then just running through those tyre selections once again. Softs, roughly around here, you're looking at about 8 to 9 laps. Mediums 15 to 17, and then hards about 18 to 20. So, as we say, hard, medium, definitely the strat around here. Obviously, a late safety car, softs. Didn't see as many penalties as what I would have thought coming into the sprint. I thought we would have seen a lot more, but we'll see a lot of guys with the 3 times the amount of fuel in their car. I reckon some of them, after doing a sprint, will just struggle to find the limits and slightly go over them, especially through the S sections. With quite a lot of fuel on the car, will make the car very understeery at the start, and depending on, they do change their setups a little bit. Some guys might have been running slightly higher downforce that realised, or maybe I can't quite pass the car in front, so they might take a bit of wing off. And others maybe wanting a little bit more downforce in the middle part of the lap, as we know, very tricky, especially with barely any downforce on 18 drivers. We're waiting on the last one. Who are we waiting on? Who am I going to call out? Mercedes, I think, which was... Who we got? I think it was Stobby. So Stobby, possibly having a couple of issues just trying to join the session. He probably won't be too far away. Still got 18. Yeah, just waiting on Stobby. He didn't do too bad, unfortunately. He had an issue in the S section again. Unfortunately, he had to obviously box for the new front wing. Just looking at the settings, if he has changed it, we still might be having dynamic weather. Actually, it is dynamic, so we may get a little bit of mixed up weather as well. And I think Stobby has joined us. He has. So now we just got to wait for Bananas to set the grid, and then we can get going once again. Prezzo just has to pick his car, which I'll just type in. Alright, so if you are still watching this, any suggestions for the race coming up? Did Aussie have a bit too much speed? Because he got that gap earlier on. He wasn't breaking away from the two Astons, but Astons never looked really like closing that gap. Definitely would have been interesting on warnings. But I think you don't have to win by a mile. You just need to be the one that crosses the line first with no penalties. So pretty sure he was just taking it easy, driving what he has to, as Banana has given the ready up signal so we can get going once again. So again, apologies for the delay. Unfortunately, with a lobby disconnect from the host, we just have multiple cars having issues, so it's better to get that sorted straight away on lap 1. We can get a new clean lobby. Hopefully all the internet issues are fixed and the lobby issues are fixed. And we can go for 36 laps of racing around Mexico. And as we saw in the sprint, a lot of hard racing we saw around this 4.3 kilometer circuit, 17 turns, 3 DRS zones. We saw the double detection zone out of the final corner, really affecting some of the guys in that DRS train, not having DRS, losing a couple of spots down the main straight, and then losing another spot or two coming down turn 3, out of turn 3 into turn 4. And Prezzo, unfortunately, he's left the session once again. So he's having issues tonight, unfortunately, which is not good because he is currently, as I check my other screen, he's currently second in the championship. Only 14 points behind Dutchy. He definitely would have lost points in the sprint to Dutchy. There weren't going to be a lot, but if he can't get back into this session, there's a lot more points he's going to lose. So with the sprint points, it was 10 down to 1 for the top 10. So top 10 all scoring points, no fastest lap point awarded. And obviously in the feature, as Prezzo does rejoin us, fastest lap will be awarded to anybody who does finish the race out with all 20 drivers. And first to 15 score points, 30 points for the winner, 23 per second spot. So Aussie Al, if he can score this, he'll be right in contention after only 2 rounds. Sorry, he'll be right in contention after only 1 round. It's sneaky if he can sort of pull off a little bit of a miracle and get past the Ferrari. He'll be right in contention. But we'll have a quick look at tyres. It was all hards the first time around. It's all hards once again. So everybody going the hard compounder tyre. So we'll be looking at for all these guys to go to about lap 18 to 20. Some might think about the undercut, get on the fresh medium tyres, and if they are in, we do see a few DRS trains. Might see if you'll come in early, try and get some clear air. But good thing is we don't have any disqualifications coming out of turn 3, which is good this time round. So Banana will be able to actually start with some warm tyres, which I'm sure he's very glad with. Same as clean break. So, but having a look, as I mentioned in the first round, going to be a bit of a PC versus PlayStation battle in this one. Oh, and that's Aussie Owl hitting the wall. Thankfully, no damage on the formation lap. Otherwise, it would not even see the start of this race. Not sure about how that affects tyre temps. They would have warmed up after the spin, but trying to turn around definitely would have pulled them down. So he'll definitely have to be a little bit mindful coming out of the S's there. As Masticles, unfortunately, he's gone over his line. As we've got a Mercedes facing the wrong way. Where's Washed? He was there. And it was Stobby, I'm pretty sure. But we've got Prezzo, he's lining up. He should be in. Fingers crossed if he can join and get into his car. But we've got all drivers on the field. Can we get away this time? And we have lights for the second time tonight. We've got all 5. Can Aussie Owl get the start? He does. Sneaky again. Not the greatest of getaways, but he's managed to fall in line behind the Ferrari. Not quite been able to get it done, as we see a lot of cars going side by side. Through turn 1, we all navigate it well again, or is that a Red Bull around? I think it was a Williams in the background. As we've got Roscoe and Jimson going side by side. Roscoe got the racing line, I think he's pulled just ahead, so he'll be in 5th. As we've got a little bit of congestion in the midfield, as we've got side by side between the two Merc. So Wash Dada currently holding that spot. Oh, that was a bit of a moment from Stobby. Banana was the one having the issue, and he was in the mid pack, so that's why. Oh, Clunky's had a moment. Yeah, he's had a spin before the last part of the S's. Hopefully he hasn't hit the wall. He's still got all front wing, which is good. Aussie Owl, he currently leads us. Sneaking into P2, Dutchy P3, so it's as is off the start. Davis and Roscoe again, 4th and 5th. Aussie Owl sets fastest lap, of course, as he crosses the line first. So Jimson did move up a position on Orphan Drop. Twitch Lily actually moved up a couple of positions as well. We'll quickly look at the position changes. Twitch Lily's up 5. So that bit of melee that we had at the start of the race, he's bound to move himself up, same as Jeff. So both Alpines actually moving up quite a lot of positions. Being able to avoid the traffic jam at turn 1. But Wash Data and Ron going side by side. Wash Data gets the position. Oh, and he nearly thought about the move on the Red Bull. He does get a little bit of a switchback. Does he sit it down the inside? He doesn't. He'll keep as is. Jump back up to the front because Jimson's very close to the McLaren of Roscoe. So DRS will get enabled next lap. Yes, just to wait till then, and we've got Orphan Drop. He's out. Where's he gone? The last part of the S's. So he would have ridden that curb. That would have shot the car to the left into the wall, and we just have a VSC for the time being. So all the cars to follow the Delta. Orphan Drop, he leaves. He won't be happy. He had a good sprint race, but unfortunately he's been the first one to be caught out and actually DNF the car. So a quick breather before these guys go on again. Obviously no safety car for the first time. Prezzo, he's in for a front wing change, I'd imagine, being that it's only a VSC. Just a change of tyre, actually. So I'm wondering if he's actually in that car. Or Aussie Owl. Oh, Sneaky's got the drive-through. I wonder why he made the pass. And there's a little bit of carnage through here as these guys sort themselves out. So obviously the Delta caught these guys out. Aussie Owl had to brake really quickly. Dutchy got... Sneaky, I should say, got caught out of it, and he's got a drive-through. So super unfortunate. So as these guys get tyre temp back into the hards, so Sneaky will have to serve the drive-through within the next 3 laps. Does he serve it now, or does he try and keep pace with these two? Maybe get a bit of a gap before he comes in. But he's going to be right at the back of this train, so he needs stuff to go his way now. Maybe a safety car later on in the race. As he comes in, he wants to get it out of the way, just in case there is a safety car in the next 2 laps. But unfortunately, that's going to send him right to the back of the field. Tyres will bring them back up. Steely Banana, obviously with the VSC interrupting him. The first time they can set a quicker time. We should see the next time by. Representative fastest lap, but Dutchy, he's hanging on to the Ferrari driver now. So there was a gap previously, but he's right on the back. So, in an actual one-on-one battle, how can these guys go? Dutchy obviously not as aggressive on his teammate in the sprint, but I'd imagine he won't give any room for the Ferrari driver now. And he's already got DRS. Zach's already picked up a 3-second time penalty, only 3.5 laps in. So it's going to be a long race for him. He's going to have to be careful as Dutchy thought about the inside. They need to be pretty much side by side to go through there to make the move likely to work. Need to get a nice exit through the final corner as Aussie Owl immediately covers to the right. Probably didn't need to go that defensive. Both not ERS at the moment. Aussie Owl looks like he got good straight line speed, but Dutchy's coming towards the end. Had a bit of a weave to the right, maybe a little bit of a indication of their making Aussie Owl maybe brake a little bit later than what he would have wanted, but Aussie Owl not being affected by it. So we'll see these two as is, and then we've got the two McLaren side by side. Sorry, neck and neck, I should say. Dave is currently leading from Roscoe, so we'll see if we get team orders from these two. I think Roscoe might be just content. He did pick up a penalty early, so he might be just trying to keep it a little bit cleaner than what he did in the sprint. Jimson, he's done a good opening 5 laps to find himself in P5, just outside the DRS range of Roscoe. As we've got, a big crash in the midfield. So someone's had a moment. Zach, I think he's been clamoured onto before he's been able to ghost. He's been able to come back, but unfortunately he's got damage as Aussie Owl sets the fastest lap, and I think we've got Twitch Lily. Yeah, he might be the one that's got damage. He does not. Do we see any of these guys picked? We don't. I'm sure Zach's coming in, just hitting that bollard he is. We'll quickly switch back up because I'm feeling we're going to see a little bit of action coming through here. And Twitch Lily's looking at a move on Steely. Go to the inside. Can he get the move pulled up? Steely around the outside, which will turn to the inside. All this contact. And the Alfa Romeo's around. Definitely tight through there. Oh, and there's contact between Banana and Sneaky. So just side contact there. Didn't quite miss what happened in terms of seemed like the contact was before we jumped onto him, but Sneaky, that's what's happened. Get the drive through, and he's having to fight back through the lower order guys, and he's just struggling. So fingers crossed he hasn't got damage, but you can just see the gap that he's got. And Clunky Boy, he's around. Jeff's around, sorry. So Jeff, not the first time he's lost it there, and he's lost it the first part of the S's. So he's back up as Sneaky and Banana go side by side. Sneaky's got the outside line. Banana just does enough to cover and doesn't get the greatest of exit and sort of blocks Sneaky. It's a good job, but Sneaky definitely wanting to get a hurry on. So won't be surprised. He's got a lot of ERS and he's starting to burn already. He wants this move done. Right on board. Can't quite get the move done. Does he think of the dive bomb? He doesn't. Quickly go back up to the McLaren battle. Oh, and that's deep from Davis. Roscoe will have the better line through 5 and 6. And not quite. These two probably should be working together a little bit. They're just going to be a little bit careful. Jimson's still out of 1 second. Sneaky finally gets the job done on Banana. No, he doesn't because they're still side by side. But Banana finally gives up the position. So Sneaky, he's only moved up. He's moved up 1 spot for the amount of time he would have lost compared to the leaders. As I said, we've already seen multiple cars go here in this part of the track, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see another one in the wall. But he's right on the back of Stobby now. Will he think about a move at the hairpin in the stadium? Not quite. But he's got so much of a better run through there. Will he think about a move 16? He won't, but he's definitely looking at turn 1 now. He gets a better drive out of 16 and through 17 now. Already on the back of the Mercedes driver, and Stobby will not have DRS, so this will be an easy move. But Banana, can he think about the move as well? He takes the outside line, and I think he's got him covered. Stobby, will he fight? He won't, he'll just slip back. So Stobby loses 2 positions on that one. Steely and Jeff going side by side. Jeff gets the move done. Does Steely come back? Not quite, as we look at Clunky Boy getting past Twitch. So a lot of action happening out of turn 3 and turn 4, and the Alpine has a bit of a wiggle out of 7. So he's just lost the ground from Clunky. So Clunky currently in the top 10 at the moment. Problem is he's about 5 seconds off the Haas in front. A clean break. Quickly switch back to this battle. We haven't seen this for a while because there's been a lot of action, but this is his move Dutchy's going to make. Oh, nearly a little bit of contact as Ron has a severe collision with clean break, and clean break is still going. Quickly go back to Data and Masticles. They're going side by side to 2 and 3. Wash Data get the better, got the exit out of 3, and he actually has DRS. So Masticles won't be able to fight him back. So that's for position. We'll quickly jump back onto Twitch Liddy. He's right behind the Ferrari of Ron Burgundy. He can't quite get the move done. So Ron, I think, was the one that picked up the 5 second, and he is missing an end plate. So I'm assuming he's gone up the back of Clean Break. Does Clean Break have all his wing? He does not. Okay, so interesting as they go side by side. Wrong spot to try and pass a car, especially with front wing damage. So we might see a little bit of chaos through here, as we're going to possibly see 3 wide coming into the stadium. The Haas taking the inside line. He's going to wash wide. He does. He forces the Ferrari offline, and nearly 3 wide into the hairpin. Sneaky's got to be careful fighting through this pack. Gets a nice drive out of there, so he's taken advantage and moved up a couple of positions. And then we've got Banana and Clean Break side by side. Clean Break coming into the pits, causing a bit of chaos, but watch Ron Burgundy, because he's got angry Aston Martin behind him, and Sneaky does get the move done and is able to take the racing line. And I think, did Ron go into the back of him? He's got to be careful about the rejoin. Nearly contact with Twitch Lee, so I think Ron should have probably come in, but what tire do you go on to? Because mediums will not get to the end. As he goes on board, he does lose the place to Stobby, but Stobby goes a little bit deep. Does Ron get the switch back? He doesn't. I think that wing's just hurting him through the tighter areas, so you should see him drop a fair way back off the Mercedes. So probably should come in and box, maybe a double medium stint, maybe a medium then a soft, but he's going to lose a lot of time, especially through here. Yeah, he's nearly a second, lost a second, and you're going to watch Jeff now, because Jeff will be right on the back of him, especially out of turn 16 and 17. Or does he go for the move now? No, he doesn't. He's just going to wait. Aussie out and Dutchy side by side. Dutchy does get the move done. So change for the lead. So Dutchy takes the lead for the first time. What does Aussie Owl do? Is he happy just to sit back? Dutchy's actually got a little bit more ERS. So is it now Aussie's time to just sit back? Save a bit of ERS. Still another 8 to 10 laps before we see pit stops for these front runners. But still very close. Aussie being able to follow him through relatively cleanly through here. Actually got a better exit out of the S's. And obviously DRS coming into the stadium. Closes him right up. So if you can follow him through here. Get a nice exit out of 16 and 17. Should be close enough. It's about half a second then. Obviously a lot of dirty air through here. That can cause you to lose time. But on the front straight, just weaving a little bit. That's not looking like a move. He's not got any ERS on. He's happy to sit behind for the time being. So will he think about the exit here? Nah, still not quite enough. As I said, turn one's the more realistic opportunity. As we go down, Roscoe and Davis have made the switch. Jimson's actually closed on to this battle. So if you can get another 10th before the next DRS zone, he'll be able to follow him as Jeff and Stobby go on side by side into turn 1. Jeff gets the move done on Stobby. So that's for position 12. Twitch and Banana very close together. Banana currently leading that battle. As we do have 5 people with penalties so far. As I'll quickly check penalties for you guys at home. 4 drivers on 3 seconds, and then Ron Burgundy with that collision 5-second penalty. So he will be able to serve that in the pit lane. Obviously, he may drop a couple of positions because of that. But he's currently running 14 and still in the points. As I'll quickly switch to this battle, Aussie Owl. A bit further back this time round. Obviously not weaving as much because he's got a bit more distance to cover to get to the Aston Martin. So Dutchy, 60%, so he's not having to use much. So Dutchy definitely liking probably the middle sector a little bit better. But Aussie Owl, he might be happy to sit back in. He's saving some ERS now. As we got this 3-way battle for the final podium position. Jimson's now closed right up back into here. As Dada has been able to gap Mastical, so not quite the pace. So AlphaTauri, I should say, not quite, but sneaky. Will he think about a move up the inside? He won't. It was very close. But Sneaky's back up into P9. But if we have a look at the leader to gap, he's 24 seconds off the lead of this race, where he should be in that battle for the lead, you'd say. We're right on board. We'll see how much time he can gain on Clunky Boy through here. At a better line through here. He'll have DRS. Will he think and move at 12? Oh, he thought about it. Very easy to send a bit of a lunge through there. Bit of weight. He knows Clunky doesn't have DRS down the front straight. Ooh, I think Clunky letting him go. Yeah, that was a bit ugly there. I think Clunky actually wanted DRS. As we've got a yellow flag. Oh, who's had an issue here? Twitch, he's had an issue. But I'll quickly jump back up to Clunky Boy. Oh, it didn't quite work out because Clunky didn't get DRS. Detection zone was a little bit before that, but it could have also been Clunky just trying to get the position up to him. Stobby up the inside of Twitch Liddy after his issue. There's side contact. Wheeler will contact. Twitch gets the spot, but the Mercedes should get the better run through here. But I don't think he'll have DRS. He will actually. Did he send it? Not quite. And we've got a yellow. We did have a yellow flag, so someone's had a slight off. So they say as is, but currently Stobby in an Alpine sandwich at the moment. I'm currently in 14th. We'll quickly go back up to the leader because there's another switch for the lead. Aussie gets back past Dutchy. Dutchy wasn't going to fight that too hard. So Aussie didn't want to sit behind the Aston Martin anymore. He wants to retake the lead. So this is going to be a strategic battle all the way to the end. So Aussie, he saved a bit of ERS. He wants the lead back. He'll set the pace. Roscoe still leading in this trio. Davis sort of protecting Roscoe a little bit from Jimson. And Roscoe helping Davis by giving him DRS. So these three working together well. Dada's closed up to this pack a little bit. Needs to find a lot more time as we've got Stobby and Twitch still going at it one lap later down at this corner. Stobby unfortunately losing it, so he wondered whether he has a little bit of damage, but he doesn't quite have the pace as the two Alpines. Banana sort of on his own at the moment in P10. Clunky is actually staying with Sneaky at the moment. So Sneaky, whether he's got a little bit of damage with that issue, Aussie Owl, he decides to burn a little bit and flex his muscle just a little bit, sets fastest lap of the race. Obviously fuel going down on these cars, yellow flag. Oh, Stobby. It's not sort of gone bad to worse, and I think that's another front wing he's going to have to fix. It is, he's got no front wing, and he takes out one of the polystyrene boards and picks up a 10-second time penalty just to add fun to his night. So we'll see him in with the new front wing. Back up the front. Aussie else still leading this race. Clunky still not getting dropped by Sneaky as well, so he's doing a good job. Prezzo and Ron side by side. Stobby gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane, and yeah, he's retired. Can't exactly blame him for that, as he's left the session, unfortunately. So hard luck for Stobby. We'll see him in the next round. Fingers crossed he can hope for a better one. As we've got a few little battle packs up here. Still he moves up to 17th. He's still going. Is he a lap down? He's about to be. As Dutchy, as we go on board, he's going to take the race lead back. And he does. As an Aussie out, didn't fight him too hard. But they're still gapping, as actually Davis has actually got past his teammate. So McLaren's have switched as well. So whether that was team orders or not, but Roscoe's got to be careful. He doesn't want to drop out of DRS range, otherwise he'll be vulnerable to Jimson behind, who's happily just saving ERS and just sitting behind these three. Wash Dada is actually closed up a second to these guys. So the three can't afford to muck around too much, otherwise it's going to be a four-way battle for the final podium position. Clunky Boy still within DRS, as we've got a few of the gaps just closing up between the bottom part of the field, but these two at the front showing tremendous speed and keeping very close together, as we do see the lap car of Steely. So depending on where Steely goes, he won't give Dutchy DRS this lap. Does Aussie Owl fight this back? Seemed a lot closer, only 3.5 tenths. Got DRS. That might just be enough. He may not have to burn. Oh, but Dutchy does decide to cover to the inside. So go down side by side. Dutchy, yeah. As I said, still, we're just hitting halfway now. There's no need to fight super hard, especially because you've got such a big lead to third. As we got a yellow flag, sector 2. Who's that? He clean breaks, hit the wall now. Oh, and this caused a full course yellow. Just a virtual safety car. But do any of these guys gamble? Still a fair distance away. Prezzo's coming around the final corner. He's in. This works perfectly for him. He went to the medium tyres early on. So he'll chuck on another set of mediums. Or he'll go to the hards. He'd be sort of cursing that it's not a full safety car. But yeah, he chucked another set of mediums on. So this will help Prezzo cut his pit lane time loss a little bit. Clean break and Steely... clean break is in as well. As we just wait for when this BSC ends. Obviously the two out in front have to be careful. It has ended. No one has picked up a drive-through this time round. So there wasn't as much confusion as what we had in the first one with the top three. So Aussie Al has been able to gap the Aston. He had the better exit through the final corner, but Dutchy with the DRS has been able to close that gap and probably had to use a little bit of ARS to make sure that he was still in that gap actually. Yeah, that's right, Aussie. Obviously, Data taking your spot and he's doing a good job replacing you. Hopefully your game issues are worked out for next round. We'd like to see you back on the grid. You finished all three. Your best result was the first round, so yeah, you'd definitely be in contention, possibly in this battle for the final podium spot. Davis done enough. Dada did actually lose about 8/10 coming out of that BSC, so he might have just caught him in the wrong spot. But still close between third, fourth and fifth. Dutchy is still in touch with Al. He had a bit of a snap coming into pit lane, so he's gone the undercut. So, end of lap 19, we see one of our front runners in. So, can he get the undercut? And what does Aussie Al do? He's burned a lot of battery. He knows he's got to come in this lap to cover him off. So, the issue is, where does Dutchy come out? I think he's going to actually have a lot of space. He's got to get up to speed. Massicles is right there, and he's coming flying down the front straight. Right on board, but it might be his teammate that he's got to watch out for. Sneaky up the inside. Massicles sort of left him the room. So Sneaky up into P7 just behind his teammate. So these two were side by side in the sprint, but obviously Sneaky, unfortunately having that drive through early on, he has to still make his pit stop. But Dutchy, he's got a bit of clear air. Surely Aussie Al is in this lap as he's into the stadium section for the 20th time. He's right on board through turn 16. Does he come in? He does, but that's a pit lane cut. He's got to be careful with that. Does he slow it down? He does. As Davis, what do these three do? Surely one of the McLarens have to come in and box. They both stay out. Washdata gets a 3-second time penalty. But it's the race for the lead that we're watching. Does Aussie Al, did he have a quick enough in lap? Oh, it's got to be tight. Dutchy will be full speed. He's got a decent gap, Aussie Al, but he's got to warm up those mediums. We'll stay on board. So, did he go a little bit deep, turn 1? Just got to be careful with the power. Yeah, Dutchy clawed 2/10 out of turn 3. Still not quite close enough. He actually lost a little bit of time. Needs to close in a lot in this middle sector before Aussie Al's tyres will really start to warm up and normalise. He's just within that 1 second. He's just going to close in a little bit more. I just heard a slight lift. He just had to be he was a little bit unsure of himself on that curve. And he did lose a little bit of time out of there. Aussie Al was actually quicker through the S section on the coldish tyres, but they should be pretty much nearly up to temp now. So Dutchy, does he hit DRS? I don't think he has actually, as Davis is the first McLaren to pit. Gibson follows him, so now Roscoe's got the task. Can he do what Aussie Al did and keep in front? Aussie Al and Dutchy, they both burnt. But Aussie Al has got traffic in front of him. Aussie Dada, what can he sway this battle at the front a little bit? Obviously 21 lap old hards. Davis is out. Did Jimson clear the traffic behind? He does, but he's got to be careful. Banana is on very old tyres. Can't afford to get stuck behind him. Jimson did a good job there, holding on. Could have easily gone deep into turn 1 and let a couple of those cars through. Aussie Al, will he think about the outside of turn 12? He'll have the grip. Got to be careful with the car. He just squeezes his car through. The Mercedes nearly thought about fighting back, but now it's Dutchy's turn. He's got to get past the Mercedes. Oh, Mercedes so slow through this turn 16. That hurt Dutchy's drive out of the final corners. That gets a 3-second time penalty. Dutchy's does get DRS. Aussie Al didn't. So can he close up quite a bit? He can, and he'll have DRS out of turn 3. So the Mercedes is going to try and stick with him. He's going to go long, see if he can get a safety car. We'll watch Roscoe. Doesn't beat his teammate. Gibson probably a little bit too far back. We'll watch Roscoe through turn 1. He does it nicely. Gibson, he knows he's got to attack the McLaren now. Can't quite get it done. So I don't think he's going to be close enough through these corners. Roscoe, he burnt all his battery to try and keep the Red Bull behind him. He does. The battle at the front, still half a second. So these two have been pretty much together the entire race. So I reckon we'll see a few more changes of positions between these two. We still got 13 laps to go once we cross the line. And Dutchy does set the fastest lap, 18.2. Lungy Boy has a 3-second time penalty, I should say. Quickly check at fastest lap. If Aussie set his personal best on that last lap, Dutchy was 3/10 quicker, but he did have DRS for that entire lap. As we quickly look at the penalties, still 5 drivers with penalties. G-Force Zach, does Dutchy think about a move at turn 4? Not quite. So obviously we see the tyre indicators on screen on your left. Aussie out, 1 lap pressure. Probably not going to make a ton of difference. As we've got a couple of midfield guys pitting Jeff's in for a new set of mediums. So we're just waiting for 2 more people, Wash Dada and Banana. Both of them might be waiting for a sneaky safety car. As we cross the line to start lap 25 in the closing stages. These two have made the pit stop. Dutchy has DRS. He does close in. Will he sit back a couple of laps to try and save a bit of ERS? As we do have a yellow flag. Oh, who's that? I think, Washdata's in the pits. I think that might be one of the Alpines. It is Jeff. Second time tonight he's had a spin through there. Washdata has come out he's under attack from Banana. Can he hang it around the inside, the outside on cold mediums? He can. Banana tries to fight him back, but backs out of it. As the two teammates are scrobbling out, at AlphaTauri. Both of them are in the 10. Which is good to see. I think Clunky's probably got a little bit more speed. Or was there a little bit of a think about a move up there? Not quite. Obviously Clunky with the 3-second time penalty. So maybe just let the fast AlphaTauri carry him through. Sneaky in 8. Obviously he would be in contention with that top 3. He's on the quick tyres now. And he's right behind Banana. Oh, he's nearly going to have this move done before the corner. Masticles picks up 3 seconds. Banana, does he fight? Takes a little bit of the inside curb to avoid contact. Aussie Owl. Oh, they go side by side into 1. So I thought it was going to be a straight switch, but it was actually side by side going into 1. Dutchy gets the lead back. Aussie Owl won't have DRS down this straight, so this helps Dutchy. So that's the benefit of having the double detection zone out of the final corner, or just before the final couple of corners, so you can use it down the front straight and out of turn 3. Oh, Aussie out getting really close. Just 3/10 in it. A lovely aerial shot through the middle sector. Has DRS. Dutchy not quite taking the ideal racing line, defending a little bit. But Aussie Owl right all over him. Through 16. Now 17. Or they both have a little moment. They both have little moments through that corner. Aussie Owl again only two and a bit tenths off. So what does Dutchy do? He does defend the racing line. Can he get the move complete? He does. Dutchy has to fall back in line. So 10 to go now. Aussie Owl takes the lead. So I think we've had about 6-7 changes for the lead in this race between these two. And it's not over yet. It's what position do you want to be on the second last lap? Do you want to try and defend, or do you want to try and overtake on that last lap down in turn 1? Banana gets overtaken by Clunky Boy just on those really old set of hard tyres, and Masticles will have a look at him shortly. As Aussie Owl picks up a 3-second time penalty. So he had a little bit of a moment through there as we got a yellow flag. That's clean break. Got to be careful with the leaders coming through, but... Ooh, safety car. No virtual, I should say. Both of them don't have damage, so be interesting to see. Interesting to see where Aussie Owl got his penalty. Looked like turn 7. Could be wrong about that cut in the inside line. He was very close last time round. But for the third time tonight, we've got a virtual safety car. We haven't seen the safety car yet tonight. So again, this field hasn't been able to bunch back up. Would have made it definitely very interesting for the final 8 laps. But these two still can't be split. DRS is enabled, and nobody, I believe, got a penalty, which is good. But Aussie Owl, that 3-second really hurts him, and that's Dutchy going super wide, trying to hang out as long as he can, so he avoids a warning. So Aussie Owl has to push, he has to break DRS as Prezzo moves up into P10. But Zach pits as we do have a spin. I think that's Jeff. He spun out of the final corner. But now Dutchy, he doesn't have to cross the line first now. He just has to stay within 3 seconds. As we'll bring up the penalties and leave it on that. So has this decided the race? That little mistake. How many warnings does Dutchy have? closing up. So there goes a car in front of Aussie Al. We'll see what he can do. Just with that DRS, it's just 3 points on the track that Dutchy gets a free kick and closes up. So it's not going to be easy. That was probably his one chance when he got to 9/10 to try and break him. And Dutchy just has to stick behind now. But we'll quickly go down to this battle for 9th and 10th. And he does get Banana. I think Banana just came out of the pits. Actually, is Banana pitted yet? He hasn't. He's 28 lap old tyres. He's hoping for a safety car. He's praying. Problem is, I think he's lost too much time on these old set of hards. He should have boxed about 10 laps ago. Quickly jump up to the front. I think he will. Both of these drivers, because of Ron, gets DRS. So Ron should get out of the way. We'll have to be careful because he may get a blue flag. He does get out of the way, but he did help his teammate get DRS. Problem is, Dutchy's got DRS as well. Roscoe has clean break. He sets the fastest lap on those new soft tyres. But Roscoe doing a really good job hanging on from his teammate. Jimson, again, he's been that third man in pack all the time. But if Roscoe can break Davis, Jimson may be able to have a move on him. So if you're Roscoe, do you keep your teammate in DRS? So if you can keep it to about 8/10 at the last activation point, means you're not under threat down at turn 1, and doesn't allow the Red Bull past your teammate to then have a crack at you. We'll see how that goes. Aussie Al about to start lap 31. He still holds the lead, but again, that 3-second penalty hurts him. Watch that up, picks up his second 3-second time penalty. He's going to lose one spot to Sneaky, but he's still right from the guys behind. Sneaky looking at a P6 after recovering from a drive-through, and unfortunately for him, no safety car. It's been a good recovery from the other Aston. Yellow flag, sector 2. We got the Haas around. Not clean break. It's Prezzo. So where's he gone? Funky, he's left the session. So he's got to be careful. Banana goes through into P11. Dutchy getting really close in this part of the lap. How much risk does Dutchy go? He doesn't need to make the pass for the victory. Ron picks up a 3-second time penalty, his first of the night. Well, you thought he was going to have a little bit of a dive bomb into the hairpin. Obviously it was never going to be on. Five to go. Does Dutchy think about a move? He's not. He's content to sit behind him. Oh, he pulls out late. Very, very close. Aussie Al goes wide. Oh, Dutchy had the better exit out of turn 3. So, I'd imagine we'll be side by side 3-4. Does Aussie Al let him go? He does. Doesn't try to fight him through that corner. So Dutchy's there. Roscoe. It's only 22nd. He's got no ARS. His teammate's got a little bit. Jimson's got a lot more. Roscoe doing a good job holding his teammate at bay. Do these two work together? Prezzo picks up a 3-second time penalty after his spin last lap. So currently just under 4.5 laps to go. Haven't seen the safety car. We've had 3 virtual safety cars. Still he picks up 3 seconds now. Clunky Boys, he's rejoined the session. He's lost out to his teammate. under the AI, but it's still a top 9 for both these drivers. If they can come back, there's a massive gap to Twitch behind them. So it'll be good points for AlphaTauri if he can get back in, take control of his car and finish this one. Zach picks up another penalty as for the lead once again. Oh, these two going side by side. Aussie thought about the outside, but he's thinking about the switch back out of here. Will Aussie get the DRS? He does. Did he have the run through 3? Oh, close, but he decides better against. So that's the same as his Banana picks up his first 3 seconds. Sorry, his second 3 second, unfortunately. So he might be in a little bit of danger from Jeff, depending on if Jeff can close up a little bit. Roscoe doing what he needs, though. So Jimson again, it's been a good result for him, but again he's just been that third car and he can't quite do enough. So we'll quickly look at position changes. Dutchy's up 2. But Ozziel's right there, he's lost 1. Roscoe's moved up 2. Jimson's up 2. Dala's actually done a really good job, moved up 10. He'd be a decent choice for driver of the day. But we're not done just yet. Dutchy, I think, does want to win this on track. Ozziel should get the move completely done by turn 1, he does. Dutchy trying to make him defend once again. Not quite. Got a little bit of a better exit through there, but the gap's still just a little bit too big. And the Ferrari will have DRS. So again, just switching back and forth. What about Roscoe? He's keeping it the same, but Jimson looks very close. If Jimson's going to have a go, he has to have a go at him now. He needs to give himself time to get on the back of Roscoe. Coming up to turn 7. On board, Zach, 5 second speed lane. Oh, he's DNF'd unfortunately. Could have gone another 3 laps, he would have scored points. But he's had enough. Oh, wash data, no. Unfortunately, he's had a spin. Has hit the wall, not quite, but luckily enough, he's pretty much not going to lose a position. Because he had the penalty anyway, so he was going to always lose to Sneaky, but he's got to be a little bit careful. He'll have the gap, but yeah, unlucky there. He pretty much did a really good job fighting through the field. He's still up 9 positions. What about Davison, Jimson? He's going to go now. Thought about the inside, still just not close enough. Got to get the line through here. Oh, he focused on turn 2, not turn 3. And Davis is going to have the better run, plus DRS again. So Davis is going to get one more chance to get past the McLaren, you'd reckon. But Jimson looking comfortable through here. Davis running a little bit wide. Is his tyres starting to go off a little bit? Ozziel will lead the final lap. Will come across to start the final lap shortly. Oh, Jimson, a lot of speed. He's got to be careful. That would have picked him up a warning. All goes for the dive bomb. That forces the other McLaren off. Does he give the position back? He definitely thought of it late, but he has lost DRS to Roscoe in front, so this may have just given Roscoe the podium. He just needs to keep it within the white lines for this last lap. And Davis won't be entirely too happy with that. It was definitely a late lunge. And Davis doesn't have any ERS to close back up. Does he think about the same thing? He doesn't. Will he think... Oh, Jimson goes wide at turn 1. Oh, Davis has a bit of an... oversteer. A bit too powerful on the throttle. And that lets Jimson off the hook. So Jimson, he won't have enough time to get within the last DRS section. As Clunky Boy, he's had a spin. Last corner, unfortunately, will come to the front. Dutchy and Aussie Al have been battling all race long. And it would have been so good if Aussie didn't pick up that last 3-second time penalty. But it's going to be Dutchy who wins the Mexican GP. In an absolute struggle against Aussie Al. Not much wrong he could have done there. Just that 3-second time penalty just changed the race at the end. What about Roscoe? In that three-way pack for third all race long. And he crosses the line to step on the final spot on that podium. Awesome job from him. Jimson took that risk on that second last lap, just lost DRS, but he was one step off. Davis, a little bit annoyed about that dive bomb, I reckon. But still, top 5, and still 2 McLarens in the top 5 once again. Showing their consistency. Sneaky, he comes across the line after that drive through early on. He finishes 6th. Clunky Boy picks up 3 seconds at the end. Washdata after that spin, but still manages to finish P7 up 9 spots. Rasticles in 8th, Twitch Liddy 9th, and Banana, he's going to manage to get P10. Does he hold on to it? He did have 6 seconds. Clunky Boy was 9 seconds off. Yeah, he's going to be right. Clunky Boy does set the fastest lap. He'll get a point. So that will end it. Jeff does come across the line in 11th. As Washdata moved up 9 spots, he gets the game driver of the day. And if he didn't have that spin at the end, would have been probably a near perfect race from him. But man, we're looking at now Dutchy. Great battle with the Ferrari driver Aussie Al, but he did what he needed to. Once he saw that Ferrari get the 3-second time penalty, just be with him. But he wanted to take it on track, and he does. And as we come to the results screen, Dutchy is your winner by 3.1 seconds, but we know that it was a 10th across the line. Roscoe brilliant result to finish on the podium. Jimson P4, Davis P5. Sneaky washed that up. Masticles, Switzerland, Banana does round out the 10 after having a spin and contact on the first lap. Jeff finishes 11th, Clunky Boy 12th, Ron Burgundy 13th, Steely 14th, and Prezzo will get the final point place in 15th. Clean break was our last of our finishes. Zach retiring in the pits 3 laps from the end. Stobby retiring halfway through, and then Orphan Drop unfortunately losing it at the S's on the second lap, I believe, as we have a quick look. Yeah, second lap unfortunately, but as I said, really good result from the top 3. Obviously a bit of a DRS train for that battle for third, but Roscoe switched between his teammate. Brilliant battle between them all. So that will just about wrap things up. Obviously, fingers crossed we can get Discord on the PlayStation fairly shortly, because it'd be nice to talk to some of these PC guys, because they've been really competitive, as we know. So what I will do is just invite Roscoe into the comms box if he wants to. Maybe have a bit of a chat to him, because he did fairly well to hold off tonight. Want Roscoe in here and just see if he does join. But yeah, brilliant racing all around, especially with the top 2. And we know how Mexico is. Quite a few penalties down the field, and Aussie Aussie Hour 7 laps from the end. Just unfortunately picking up that penalty, costing him any chance of the win. But I think that was a fantastic race. Obviously had a bit of a delay in the middle with the session reset, but I said can't be too disappointed with that. And then next round we go to Hungary. So tight and twisty, as we know. Some people call it Monaco without the walls, but I still reckon the walls are fairly close. But as I said, that was brilliant. And as I said, I reckon a few of these guys probably want a little bit of redemption. What could have Sneaky done without that drive through? As I said, I don't think. Yeah, he'll be disappointed, but it was a good recovery back up into P6, so he shouldn't be too disappointed with that. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll have Roscoe, but again, fingers crossed the beta goes well for Discord and we can start talking to these fellas. But I think that's where we'll wrap it up for tonight. Aussie Hour got your pole and your sprint race victory. Dutchy does get the feature race. He'll score 30 points. And he'll extend his championship lead with Prez only finishing 15th in that race. But again, fantastic racing all around, especially with the top two. And with that said, we'll see you in a week's time, I believe it is. So we'll see you in a week's time for Pacific Tier 2 around Hungary. So until next time, it's bye for now.